Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. 13 supplement meditation from page 68. So I'm on 222 and I hope my screen is shared to everybody. A scheme for beginners based on a study of the divine theme by Meher Baba. Meditation has often been misunderstood as being a mechanical process of forcing the mind upon some idea or object. It is therefore only natural that most people should find great difficulty in their attempts to coerce the mind in a particular direction or to pin it down to one particular thing. Any purely mechanical handling of the mind is not only irksome, but is ultimately bound to be unsuccessful. The first principle which the aspirant should therefore remember is that the mind can be controlled and directed in meditation only according to the laws inherent in the makeup of the mind itself, and not by the application of any feats of simple willpower. Many people who do not technically meditate are often found to be deeply and intensely engrossed in systematic and clear thinking about some practical problem or theoretical subject. In a sense, their mental process is very much like meditation, inasmuch as the mind is engrossed in intense thinking about a particular subject matter to the exclusion of all irrelevant things. The reason meditation is often easy and spontaneous in such a mental process is that the mind is dwelling upon a subject in which it is interested and which it increasingly understands. But the spiritual tragedy about ordinary trains of thought is that they are not directed towards things that really matter. The subject matter of meditation must therefore always be carefully chosen and it must be spiritually important. In order to attain success in meditation, we must not only get the mind interested in the divine subjects or truths, but we must also begin by trying to understand and appreciate them. Intelligent meditation is a natural process of the mind which avoids the monotonous rigidity and regularity of mechanical meditation. It therefore becomes not only spontaneous and inspiring, but easy and successful. Since intelligent meditation consists in thorough thinking about a particular subject, it follows that the best way to meditate would be to make a brief and clear exposition of an appropriate subject. For this purpose, there could be nothing better than the divine theme with its charts, which is reproduced in the following section. The process of meditation, which Meher Baba recommends, has three stages. In the first stage, the aspirant will read through the divine theme daily, studying the charts also, and thinking about it thoroughly as he does so. In the second stage, when the aspirant has the entire subject at his fingertips, actual reading becomes unnecessary, but the subject matter of the exposition will be mentally reviewed with the help of the charts when necessary. In the third stage, which will develop naturally out of the second, it will be quite unnecessary for the mind to review the words or the thoughts in the exposition separately and consecutively, or even to refer to the facts, and all discursive thinking about the subject matter will come to an end. At this stage of meditation, the mind will no longer be occupied with any trains of thought, but will have a clear understanding of the sublime truths expressed in the exposition. With that, divine theme by Meher Baba, evolution, reincarnation, and the path to realization. Introduction to the charts. A soul becomes perfect after passing through evolution, reincarnation, and the process of realization. To gain full consciousness, it gets increasing samskaras in the process of evolution, till in the human form it gets full consciousness as well as the gross samskaras. In the process of reincarnation, this soul retains its full consciousness and exchanges, that is, alternatingly experiences, the diverse samskaras in itself. And in the process of realization, this soul retains its full consciousness, but its samskaras become fainter and fainter till they all disappear and only consciousness remains. While becoming faint, gross samskaras become subtle samskaras become mental samskaras, and finally they all disappear. Up to the human form, the winding process of samskaras becomes stronger and stronger in the process of evolution. In the human form, in the in the process of reincarnation, the winding retains its full strength. But in the process of realization, the sanskaras gradually unwind themselves till in the God state they are completely unwound. God, the oversoul, alone is real. Nothing exists but God. The different souls are in the oversoul and one with it. The processes of evolution, reincarnation, and realization are all necessary in order to enable the soul to gain self consciousness. In the process of winding, samskaras become instrumental for the evolution of consciousness, though they also give samskaric bindings. And in the process of unwinding, samskaric attachments are annihilated through the consciousness which has been fully gained is fully retained. In the process of the winding of samskaras, the soul goes through 7 stages of descent, and in the process of unwinding, the soul goes through 7 stages of ascent. But the phenomena of descent as well as ascent are both illusory. The soul is everywhere and indivisibly infinite, and it does not move or descend or ascend. The souls are all men and women of all nationalities, castes, and creeds are really one. The souls of all men and women of all nationalities, castes, and creeds are really one, and their experiences of good and evil, of fighting and helping, of waging wars and living in peace are all a part of illusion and delusion, because all these experiences are gained through bodies and minds, which in themselves are nothing. Before the world of forms and duality come into existence, there was nothing but God. That is an indivisible and boundless ocean of power, knowledge, and bliss. But this ocean was unconscious of itself. Picture to yourself this ocean as absolutely still and calm, unconscious of its power, knowledge, and bliss, and unconscious that it is the ocean. The billions of drops which are in the ocean do not have any consciousness. They do not know that they are drops, nor that they are in the ocean, nor that they are a part of the ocean. This represents the original state of reality. This original state of reality comes to be disturbed by an urge to know itself. This urge was always latent in the ocean, and when it begins to express itself, it endows the drop with individuality. When this urge makes the still water move, there immediately springs up numerous bubbles or forms around the drops, and it is these bubbles which give individuality to the drops. The bubbles do not and cannot actually divide the indivisible ocean. They cannot separate the drop from the ocean. They merely give to these drops a feeling of separateness or limited individuality. Now, let us study the life of one drop soul through its different stages. Owing to the arising of the bubble, the drop soul, which is completely unconscious, is invested with individuality or feeling of separateness, as well as with very slight consciousness. This consciousness, which is sprung up in the drop soul, is not of itself, nor of the ocean, but it is of the bubble or the form, which in itself is nothing. This imperfect bubble at this stage is represented by the form of a stone. After some time, this bubble or form bursts, and there springs up in its place another bubble or form. Now, when a bubble bursts, two things happen. there is an increase in consciousness and there is a twist or consolidation of impressions or samskaras accumulated during the life of the previous bubble. The consciousness of the drop soul has now slightly increased, but the drop soul is still conscious only of this subtle, only of this new bubble of or form, and not of itself nor of the ocean. This new bubble is represented by the form of the metal. This new bubble of form also bursts in due course of time, and simultaneously there is a further increase in consciousness and a fresh twist or consolidation of samskaras, which gives rise to the emergence of another type of bubble or form. This process continues right through the course of evolution, which covers the stages of stones, metals, vegetables, worms, fishes, birds, and animals. Every time that the previous bubble of form bursts, it gains more consciousness and adds one twist to the already accumulated samskaras until it reaches the human bubble or form, in which the ever increasing consciousness becomes full and complete. The process of the winding up of samskaras consists of these regular twists, and it is these twists which keep the consciousness gained by the drop soul directed and fixed towards the bubble or the form instead of towards its real self, even when consciousness is fully developed in the human form. On gaining the human form, the second process begins. This process is that of reincarnation. At this point, the process of the winding up of samskaras comes to an end. The drop soul takes numerous forms one by one, and these forms are exactly 84 lakhs in number. These forms are sometimes those of man and sometimes those of woman, and they change nationalities, appearance, color, and creed. The drop soul, through human incarnations, experiences itself sometimes as a beggar and sometimes as a king, and thus gathers experiences of the opposites of happiness or misery according to its good or bad samskaras. In reincarnation, that is, in its successive and several human forms, the drop soul retains its full consciousness but continues to have alternating experiences of opposite samskaras till the process of realization begins. And during this process of realization, the samskaras get unwound. In reincarnations, there is a spending up of samskaras, but the spending up is quite different from the unwinding of the samskaras, which takes place during the process of realization. The spending up of samskaras itself creates new samskaras which bind the soul, but the unwinding of samskaras does not create fresh samskaras, and it is intended to undo the very strong grip of samskaras in which the drop soul is caught. Up to the human form, the winding up of samskaras becomes stronger and stronger during the process of evolution. In the human forms of reincarnation, the winding continues to operate as a limiting factor. But with every change of the human bubble or form, the tight twists gained during the process of winding get loosened through 84 lakhs of shakings before they are ready to unwind in the process of realization. Now begins the third process of realization, which is a process of ascent. Here, the drop soul undergoes the gradual unwinding of the samskaras. During this process of unwinding, the samskaras become fainter and fainter, and at the same time, the consciousness of the drop soul gets directed more and more towards itself. And thus, the drop soul passes through the subtle and mental planes till all the samskaras disappear completely, enabling it to become conscious of itself as the ocean. In the infinite ocean of the oversoul, you are the drop or the soul. You are the soul in the ordinary state, and you use your consciousness in seeing and experiencing the bubble or the form. through the gross layer of the bubble, you experience that part of the huge gross bubble, which is the earth. You are eternally lodged and indivisibly one with the oversoul, but you do not experience it. In the advanced stage, up to the third plane, you use your consciousness in seeing and experiencing the huge subtle bubble called the subtle world through the subtle bubble, or form called the subtle body, but you do not see and experience the oversoul which you are in. Since your consciousness is now directed towards the oversoul. In the advanced stage, from the fourth through the sixth plane, you use your consciousness in seeing and experiencing the huge mental bubble, which is called the mental world, through the mental bubble of form, which is called the mental body. But even now, you do not experience the oversoul. But in the God realized state, you continually use your consciousness for seeking and experiencing the oversoul. And then all the forms are known as nothing, as being nothing but bubbles. I'll just finish the footnote here. Many readers do not discern that Meher Baba customarily described the life cycle as evolution, reincarnation, involution, and the process of realization. Fearing the statement in the text above might seem contradictory to that in paragraph 3, page 176, we asked Eruch B. Jesawala for clarification. He replied, once one is on the planes of consciousness, the reincarnation process may be said to have come to its fag end. On the path leading to beloved God, the impatience to see him and to be one with him is intense. Such reincarnations as are necessary due to impressions burdening the consciousness seem almost nil compared to the 84 lakhs of shakings. Okay. So, evolution,
what do you? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said, so it's basically evolution, that's through the forms, the gross forms, reincarnation in the human birth, involution till you get to the planes, and then the process of realization. Anyway, we'll see the charts. Tushar, go ahead.
Yeah, Sunil's question yesterday is answered in what you read today.
Exactly.
And even your question regarding the opposites is answered today in this.
Yes. It's clarified better. It's clarified better.
If we just reread this again, individually also you can do, you will get your answers.
True. I think the opposites aspect as well as the aspect of forms and samskaras creating findings.
That's what Sunil asked, right, Sunil?
Yeah. Yes.
So are you being answered here by Baba?
Getting clearer. Yes. Thank you. I have one question.
You can read again the whole thing.
Yes, I will. I printed the book actually. I have the book now, so I'm reading through the book as well and marking my notes. One more question on page 220. In the process of winding of sanskaras, the soul goes through 7 stages of descent. That paragraph.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me go there.
You can turn this up.
In the process of winding of sanskaras, the soul goes through 7 stages of descent. And in the process of unwinding, the soul goes through 7 stages of ascent. Yeah. Go ahead with your question.
But the phenomena of descent as well as ascent are both illusory. The soul is everywhere and
indivisibly infinite
and does not move or ascend or descend. How do you interpret this? It seems like a contradiction within the same paragraph.
Yeah, so I think Kama mentioned this yesterday, and I hope he's on the call. So he said, even that is illusion, right? So even the fact that we are going through this journey, even after recognition that the gross forms are illusory, even the journey through the souls are actually illusory. So that's the only real aspect which he keeps referring to again and again. The only, right here, the previous paragraph above, God, the oversoul alone is real. Nothing exists but God. So if you take that and then look at this paragraph,
Yeah.
which means that everything else is anyway illusory. In the
Illusory.
sense that, again, it's semantics, right? So it's anything that's not real is illusory.
Illusory.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Understood. Yeah.
Have
Thanks.
you
Anybody else?
have you got your answer, Sudhi?
Yeah, that's what.
Yes, I got it. Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tushar.
because this can be explained. This is also explained in the chart, which we have been referring to.
So we'll go to the charts just after this.
Yeah, those are the 7 principles of human body and the consciousness.
Right.
It starts from the descent starts from number 7 to 1, and as 1 to 7.
Okay.
Right.
So now, picture yourself as the soul drop, lodged in the oversoul, behind 5 layers after the gross body. You, the soul drop, are now looking at the gross body and through it at the gross world. When you look at the second layer and through it, the first layer will appear to you as nothing but a layer only. And thus, looking behind each layer, you will find all these layers as only your shadow covers. And finally, when you, that is the soul drop, look at and get merged in the oversoul, you realize that only you were real and all that you were seeing and experiencing till now was your own shadow and nothing else. So, further confirmation of the illusion versus real. Explanation of charts 9 and 10. Chart 9. The big semicircle in chart 9 represents the oversoul, which contains everything in the universe. The life of a single individual soul is depicted in the 3 main stages of evolution: reincarnation and the process of realization. S stands for the individual soul. Before attaining the human form, it goes through 7 stages of each of the following kinds of existence, namely stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal. At the 7th stage, that is just before entering a new kind of existence, you will note a pictorial representation of a twist or a knot, which stands for a consolidation of previously acquired sanskaras. The outer red circle around the individual soul S represents the samskaras accumulated during the process of evolution, and the blue appendage to the S represents, we'll come back, the consciousness which begins to be developed simultaneously. A soul becomes Z, soul, after going through evolution, reincarnation, and the process of realization. It is only in the God state that consciousness is free from samskaras. The gross, subtle, and mental worlds, that is Annabhumi, Pranabhumi, and Manobhumi, are each represented by a big circle on the right hand side. Since consciousness of the gross world is not fully developed in the pre-human stages of evolution, the lines which connect the stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal souls through their respective stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal forms are shown merely as touching the gross world only partially. While since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines as being capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. Let's go to the diagram because there's a lot being said. We should not lose sight of it. So I will pan now. Oh my God. So not, yeah, here it is. So you start the winding process with A. By the way, those of you who are on a touch device can actually zoom further. You can zoom further on the image and it will zoom, so you can see better. So stone souls through the S with the sanskaras, which are the red, and the red becomes progressively bigger and bigger. What did he say was the blue? Oh, the consciousness is the blue arrow. gross consciousness is increasing. So the arrow also is becoming bigger and more pronounced as we go through the journey. And all the lines, corresponding lines go all the way to Z, which is the Z in the God. Okay, so we'll just move to the right. How do I pan right? Why is it not? Yeah, so all of them go to, so all the lines go to the, okay, the journey is from A to Z here, and I'll read that paragraph again where he's talking about the corresponding lines, then maybe it'll make more sense. Yeah. The gross, subtle, and mental worlds, Annabhumi, Pranabhumi, and let me go to the gross, subtle, and mental worlds, that is Annabhumi, Pranabhumi, and Manobhumi, are each represented by a big circle on the right hand side. That's on the right top, if you see the three circles. Since consciousness of the gross world is not fully developed in the pre-human stages of evolution, the lines which connect the stone, metal, vegetable form, fish, bird, and animal souls through their respective stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird, and animal forms are shown merely as touching the gross world only partially. While, since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines as being capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. In the process of reincarnations, the soul may take a male or a female form. Okay, I have a doubt. I still didn't get why the lines are going up and then coming down. So they're connected to the gross world. That's what you say.
I can't see the chart at all. Not refreshing. My page is not refreshing. Yeah, now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Kama, go ahead.
Kama, go ahead. Yeah.
When you look at the chart and you see the winding process that goes on, which touches each of the stone, metal, vegetable souls, you will see that the twist is downwards. And once you come to the human, see that it is upwards, the twist on the top.
Yeah. This one. Yeah.
So that's what it means by the corresponding lines. I think it should have been corresponding twists, upward twist and downward twist.
So this is the multiple species of fish souls that are the small s's that you go through. The knot represents the switch from one to the other in terms of evolutionary leap. Now, the question I have is, what is this? Why is this line going up and then going right?
No, just to reach the gross world, to depict in a picture, they have used it, I think.
Okay.
No,
because it
like
also seems to be coming
metals,
back.
Vegetables are they are part of the gross forms, gross world.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Stone,
only up to the human.
Are part of the gross world. Yes.
Correct. You're right. So,
and then another thing you see is the blue consciousness. It kind of increases in color and shape.
Yes, the samskaras have a journey which is different. The red part is the samskaras. So
correct. Sanskaras are increasing and gross consciousness is also increasing.
Correct.
So this is called winding sanskaras up till the human form.
And then the unwinding starts from
in the
this
reincarnation. Then spending sanskaras in the reincarnation process, and then unwinding sanskaras in the realization process.
Correct. So between the human and the end of the reincarnation phase, again the samskaras increase in size. the red actually has increased, right? So if you see here, from here
Samskaras
to
are
here,
decreasing.
no, from here they start
See.
decreasing. Okay, yeah, they're decreasing. It's the comment clearly says decreasing. Consciousness remains the same, and unwinding
Yes.
of process is depicted by the upward twist of the knot.
Correct. Going through the 7 planes of each of the three, the two worlds, subtle and mental world, the 7 planes of the subtle and mental worlds.
Correct.
So reincarnation process is in the gross world. So in the gross world, we are spending sanskaras, which means we are reacting to our sanskaras and creating fresh new sanskaras.
Correct.
And once you go from the reincarnation process to the first plane of the subtle world, then you have started to unwind the sanskaras and you are now responding. You're doing intelligent action where you're not spending sanskaras, but you are unwinding sanskaras. So sanskaras are decreasing. And this is what you'd learn in the Vipassana theory also. When you do Vipassana, not to react to your sensations, which is basically sanskaras.
That is nirvikalp. That means nirvikalp, choicelessness.
Cool. Any more questions, thoughts? Those of you who are seeing it in print, feel free to discuss on this.
And you will also notice in the diagram between the animal souls and the men and women to the subtle world, that twisting sanskar, that twisting thing actually just on the human side, it just touches it. And then it starts to twist upward. From
Correct.
downward, it starts to twist upward. So the human becomes the center point.
Correct. So here there is no knot or a twist. It's just a touch. And then from there, it's an upward twist here, and beyond.
So I basically think that the downward twist implies winding sanskaras. And then the upward thing, includes both spending and unwinding sanskaras, probably. Yeah.
Cool.
It is not. Yeah. Please go ahead, Mama.
Yeah.
From the gross world downwards, there is a loop coming down to the God state. What does it actually represent?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
From the gross world. So wait a minute. I'll show what he's saying. I also had that doubt. So if you see this.
That is the ascent. It is named as ascent.
Oh, okay. So that's, I think, a parallel depiction of the 7 stages of descent. So if you look at the big thick line, the big black line, so that's a descent through the 7 stages at a broader level.
That is actually ascent.
No, that's the descent. So it's different.
No,
right?
the descent is this one. On top, which is going towards the gross world. And actually ascent is from gross world through the subtle world, mental world, unto the God state.
Correct.
So it is coming down, but it is actually the ascent.
Correct.
So how do we interpret this?
So the process of winding up of samskaras is the descent, because I am degenerating, so it's probably a descent, because I'm going away from the pure, more broader, more powerful state, and the ascent is after the human state. I am actually trying to improve the level of consciousness, and hence it's a positive climb. That's my interpretation. Anybody else?
I think the diagram has not been shown properly. It should have been reverse. In our mind, ascent means that. But in spiritual terms, it goes from gross world to the God. So although it shows as a decline, it's actually an ascent.
Yeah, it's actually an ascent.
Yeah, it's actually an ascent.
See, the para
No,
which
then
I referred to.
with this idea, this is actually ascent, but we'll have to mingle these two things. One is the progress of the subtle mental worlds shown as unwinding of the red thing, loss of red thing in the oversoul, and remnant at the end is only the blue, that is the consciousness. And this ascent is shown from gross world through the subtle and mental world to the God state. How do we gel these two lines together in our understanding? That I am not unable to mix them.
See, I can tell you that because the way the diagram is structured, so when you see the circle oversoul from stone souls, metal souls, right up to the mental and God state, okay, that is the diagram. Now, if this diagram had been on the top, okay, and then the gross world, when that twisting thing that goes from the stone souls above the semicircle, which goes twisting right up to gross world, which is called the descent, right? That it had come down, and then the mental world, subtle world, and gross world. So I think it is just the way the diagram is structured. Okay.
Structured, that's it.
So what I'm saying is that if the gross world, subtle world, mental world had been down below this semicircle, then I think it would have been much more clearer.
If you see this in 3 dimensions, it will be clear.
Yeah, that's a good,
No,
that's a good point.
So what I am saying is, instead of the stone souls, metal souls, vegetable souls, arrows going up and then right, if it had come down and then gone right, then gone up, then it would have made sense. I think this is a very interesting point. Actually, this diagram can be redesigned to just change the way it looks, you know.
I agree. I agree with Kama.
I disagree because I don't want to say Baba has done a wrong thing.
No, it's not.
No.
There may be something which we are not able to understand.
Exactly. You are not
The only benefit, only the reason why this is done this way is probably the fact that he had to accommodate all of this in one diagram, right?
Yes,
So this was,
that is probable. Yes.
Yeah, this was hand drawn and edited over and over again. I think it was Rano Gaili or one of the women that painted this, and it was edited over and over again. And if you see the level of detail, obviously this is a scan from a handwritten one, right? So it tells you that limitation is probably why he has done this. But I agree with Kama that visually the descent being in downward slope and ascent being through the plains and shown in climb would have made it easier to understand. But Mama, you're right as well. We cannot question so easily on why Baba did what he did.
No. I think Baba probably deliberately did this so people like us can ask this fundamental questions. You know, there is nothing. I think
Yes,
it was deliberately done. I believe now. You know,
Probably.
because it seems so obvious
provoke us.
that why wouldn't somebody? Yeah, you know,
yes.
you know. So I think it is a good puzzle. Actually, it is a very good puzzle.
It also represents evolution and involution. See, involution is during the ascent, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So he has shown it like that, perhaps. Involution actually means contraction, right?
And one more explanation which comes to my mind is, in this process of ascent, we are losing all our samskaras, gross body, subtle consciousness, and mental consciousness, and ultimately reach the God state. So there is a process of unwinding. That's why it is coming down. But it's actually the forward progress of the consciousness towards the God state.
Yeah, involution. That's involution. And see, we are losing nothing.
Yes, we are losing nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But
What we see as everything is nothing, actually.
yes. Yes, this chart needs a lot more study to understand the whole concept as such, but it graphically represents what has been studied till now. And then, if we constantly go back to this chart, we can revise all that what we have learned till now.
Very true. Very
Yeah, and there are a lot of charts in this book. So we will,
Ah,
each one of us will have to study this, and we can.
true. Tushar,
Uh-huh.
we are not able to hear you. You
ah,
got cut off.
Tushar, we don't hear you.
I think he froze. I think he has to
Okay.
reconnect.
Ah.
Okay, so I will also try to
No,
do
I
some. I'm intrigued by this. So let's all of us do some research online. There's obviously a lot of commentary on the charts, Ivy Doos, Ward Parks, and so if we find something that's even more revealing and answering some of the doubts we have, please feel free to share on the group, and I will do the same. Right? So that might be good. Kama?
Karthik, imagine if you just take that gross world in your hand, in your fist, okay, and look at the descent and ascent as strings, and you just bring it below the semicircle, to the below the master's soul, okay, then the chart will be very clear, because he's correct. I think the
Exactly.
ascent and
Correct.
descent,
Ah.
if you just, imagine if it's a string and you just bring it below, I think this chart
Below
will
and
be
then
perfect.
show the ascent and show the descent. Perfect. Exactly.
So that's what I said. It's a three-dimensional thing.
Ah.
So maybe compress the master's soul in size and then move it up a little bit and accommodate the gross soul below. Correct. Yeah. Or
And
just not the gross soul, just the winding line and come down. Yeah.
just turn the oversoul semicircle a bit in clockwise. So you'll have the third dimension.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think before we close on this chart, we have not commented or thought about on the different aspects in the human soul. There is a lot of reincarnation is depicted in different small circles.
Yes.
Yes, this portion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he
I
actually
can
has.
say that, I can tell you the reincarnation process, each of those lines can be looked as kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, and then, that's how I look at that.
Or should it be reincarnation? Each circle is one birth and the other one is another birth.
Yes.
So we
yes,
go
absolutely.
through a lot of rebirths. Ultimately, we come to the stage where we will be able to totally release all our sanskaras.
That is true. At philosophy, we've done, some masters here have done, they have been clairvoyant. So, for instance, they've done 41 lives of J. Krishnamurti. Halcyon was his previous name. Okay. It looks something like this.
Okay.
And it spans almost 30,000 years.
Wow.
Okay.
That book is available with Theosophy.
Okay.
But there is a lot of exoteric thing about the lives rather than esoteric, the inner life.
Sure. Just got one question. There are two references to 84 lakh, right? 84 lakh births. And he, in the last reference that we read today, he says 84 lakh in the reincarnation phase. So in between these 2 points, like we are talking here, the human to the start of involution process. So are we talking about 84 lakh human births?
human births will see even. I mean, for what I have learned is a human being is actually in three states at a time.
Okay.
Human is also in subtle and human is also in the mind. Okay. So between this human and the mind, okay, spanning, I think the three, this, what do you call the icon here?
Yeah.
Arrows, right?
Yeah.
So it spans over the whole thing. Because the mind's highest level is the causal body. Baba has mentioned of causal body. Causal body stores all the karmic structure and sanskaras. Until they are over, you cannot be free from a human life.
No, my question is just more mundane.
So
Are you talking about 84 lakh across the forms or 84 lakh in the human form? Just a question of scale of effort. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Even if you have your mind active, let me finish, Rama. Let me finish. If you are in the mind state, you will still be in the human growth. You have not transcended, crossed the this level of mind. It's merely three levels of consciousness we live in all the time. In our sleep, we are in the subtle world. Resting. The human part, human growth part is resting. Now I'm talking a little bit away from God's speech.
Okay.
Please come in. Come on.
Yeah, I can tell you this, that if you look at the index on LAKH, LAKH, there are 4 pages that they have given. Okay. And if you read all the 4 pages, to answer your question about 84 lakhs, this I'll tell you my understanding. 84 lakhs is basically within the human form. Okay. And from the time you become a human, you have to go through 84 lakh human shakings. Okay, that is one terminology he has used. In another place, he says you have to go through 84 lakh human. Let me finish.
Sure.
Another one, he says you have to go through 84 lakh human lives. And then in another part, he says there are 50 crores of lives that you have to go through from the time of the Big Bang, from the home point through all the different kingdoms, right up to the time of realization. So 50 crores minus 84 lakh is probably the subhuman species. Okay. And one more thing I want to add is that we don't have to go through all 84 lakh human lives. My understanding is that if you go through 84 lakh minus lives, you would have experienced all the opposites of duality and there is nothing left but to be liberated. So hypothetically, if you don't have a guru or any perfect master to guide you and you're doing this and you want to live till 84 lakh lives, at the 84th lakh human life, you will automatically get liberated. This is my understanding. So the perfect masters and avatars come to the point to help us to accelerate, whether you want to do it in 884, 8040, whatever, So this is my understanding of this 84 lakh.
I agree. I have the same view.
But one counter for what you have told is that if we accumulate samskaras even in the human form by doing not unwinding but winding ourselves into samskaras, then we go back to the same scale and then come back later. So we have to oscillate. So it is not automatic progress. So unless you realize and then stop winding and do only unwinding, you have this line. You can climb up this line without the master and then reach your abode on this scale. But if we keep winding, that is accumulating sanskaras even in human form, you are going back. Either in the human form itself, you are going back, or you may jump even to the other forms. That is what in Vedic culture, literature also, it is told the same, I think.
but I can tell you,
True.
yeah,
It is true,
I
but
can tell you there are, see,
go ahead.
there are three kinds of sanskaras here. Winding sanskaras up till the human form, then no more winding, only spending sanskaras or unwinding sanskaras.
No, Baba has also referred to that even while we are unwinding, we may wind. That is, we may add on samskaras even in human form. Then this progress will become delayed.
Yeah,
So because it says you may even go to the stone form also.
Hello.
No. You won't go in the stone form.
Once you
No,
become a
it is
human,
referred
you
to.
never
We read
go
through
this
that. I will
Let
fish
me-
out and let me tell you.
I think stone form
Can you
only
say
if you make a mistake, you go.
Ah, that is why.
Yeah,
from
So in the human form, you are
Otherwise,
likely to. Yes.
Otherwise, if you regress, you're talking of regression, right?
Regression.
You are within the domain of 84 lakh lives. Okay.
We keep moving in the scale up and down.
Yeah, this is a process of accelerating, as Kama said. So if you make mistakes and go in regression, if you are unconsciously acquiring more sanskaras, you regress, but you will still remain in the human life. You have made mistakes unless let me talk. Unless you have made mistakes at the abyss points where you need a guru, right? Abyss point starts from physical to the next plane, so plane 1 and plane 2, the lowest. Okay, so if you make mistake, you remain in the gross form, the first plane itself.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Namita.
To reduce these 84,000 lives, we need a master and we need meditation. So master we have, how much meditation do we need so that we can quickly get there?
Yes. You want a mathematical calculation so that you can.
How can I say,
It depends on your understanding.
According to Meher Baba, once you have a perfect master, you just surrender. Whatever he tells you, if you do that, that's it. It has nothing to do with meditation. It has nothing to do with anything.
so that means
Once
we
you
are
are with a
almost
perfect
there
master.
now.
No, I don't agree, Kama, that you have to merely surrender and do nothing. You have to make efforts.
What is the effort?
Without making efforts, Baba will help you where you falter. Okay. This he has clearly said. I mean, I have seen videos where he's said this. I mean, it's someone commenting from the books itself that you have to work on your inner self. Baba is emphasizing on that. Baba is not really for certain things which I don't want to speak here because it will disturb the astha of people. Send that part to Karthik. Okay.
One last thing to add on to what Tushar was saying. Basically, what we are doing is Baba has given us self-knowledge through God speaks, discourses, listen, humanity, and all his messages, which is 1% inspiration. What Tushar said is correct. We have to make the effort, the 99% perspiration that Thomas Edison was talking about. So self-awareness is the challenge on a daily basis, where we don't spend sanskaras and create new sanskaras. Through self-awareness, we basically are unwinding sanskaras. If what you call as intelligent action, there is a chapter in discourses, only 2 pages. It is called action, intelligent action and unintelligent action. It's only 2 pages, but that summarizes everything we are talking about.
Okay.
Action and inaction. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the path, what Namita asked was about meditation. There is definitely a path which I am going to follow in future also. Meditation, some masters are saying, is the only way to get to know yourself, the true self, capital S. So it is a part, and Nomita, it can just take a moment for you to realize. If you talk mathematically, it's just one moment. Not very easy.
Okay, if I get there, I'll share.
Sure. No, I have one more contrast to all. I agree with Kama as well as Tushar saying 1%, 99% is important and true. I'll say two things in response. One, the fact that Baba himself has said many times that those with a perfect master, those with Baba, will are on the express train, right? So there are passenger trains, there are goods trains. That's the exact analogy he has made. And those with the perfect master are on a express train. But I agree with all of the people on the call now saying that it does not make it that the fact that we are on the train, we do nothing and it's done. So and that's where I go to my second point. Baba, being a Baba lover is one, but we'll have to make changes to our life to live Baba. So we have to live that life of the message that he has given and bring it and internalize it, and B, put it in practice, which is absolutely a climb. It's easy to internalize this and understand it, but to actually get to a point of putting it in practice is very tough.
Yeah.
I have a lighter vein addition.
Go ahead.
I think you have a habit of getting down at every station, and I am immediately waiting inside the train.
I'm tempted by the sights on the platform, and I'm just jumping out and watching. Yeah, I think Baba should make it non-stop. We'll tell him in the next avatar to make it a non-stop.
Duranto is new word.
Exactly. So, last question. Again, this is the mathematical and numbers brain of mine. Is there any thought exercise or any reading that you've come across which actually tries to translate this 84 lakh number into the actual cycles of birth and death in terms of human population that exists? We have 7 billion people now. We've had historical data about all human births in some form. So is there some math somebody has done? So that might be something intriguing to say. What is the numerics on actual evolution and involution and overall numbers of souls? Am I making sense in my question?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You are making sense.
Questions in my mind.
See, I can tell you from a Kriya Yoga principle. There is a book by Sri Yukteswar called somebody, if they help me on this, I will tell you the name. And what he has written is, he was asked by Avatar Babaji to write a modern interpretation of the Bible. Okay. I think it's called The Holy Science or something like that. That book is freely downloadable. What he says is, Baba has also mentioned this cycle, Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga can be considered as 12,000 years. So Kali Yuga is 1200, then Dwapara Yuga is 2400 double. 2400 plus 1200 is 3600 Treta Yuga, and then Satya Yuga is 4800 years. So if you add on 4800, 3600, 2400, 1200, it comes to 12,000 years. So there is what you call as a ascension and descension that goes on. Okay. So this is one aspect of, the human civilization or whatever this different yugas of 12,000 year cycle. And when you go into quantum mechanics, now you have this 13.8 billion years ago when this whole Big Bang happened, which is how I look at how this universe came into being. And when you go through God Speaks, you will understand at the end, Baba says that this thing has happened billions of times. There have been billions of avatars, okay? And it actually equates to what in quantum mechanics they call it multiverse. So this is not just one universe with billions of galaxies. There are many multiple parallel universes that are going on. So coming back to your question of these souls, one of the things I always used to wonder, why do we have like now 7.7 billion people? Like, where are these souls coming from? And I think probably in one of Baba literature, I have probably read that because this is the avataric age, there are three kinds of earth. Our earth is 50% heart, 50% mind. There's another earth which is 75% mind, 25% heart. And there's another earth which is like 100% mind. So somebody like Einstein and all these people probably came from Atlantis or whatever, like. And what Baba has said, this is the avataric age. All these souls from different planets would like to come on Earth and take this energy, because Baba said that I am available to you for 100 years after I drop my body. So even though Baba's physical presence is not there in front of us, he's actually equivalent to being physically present for 100 years from 1969 to probably 2069. His energy is always around us. And that is why we can tap on it. So basically, all these souls which we see, all this poverty that we see, so many poor people, all these things, I think these are souls which are going through this reincarnation process here and trying to make the best use of it. So this is my understanding.
And also the number is not decreasing because all of us are not reaching that level of being part of Baba. We are still stuck somewhere. So the population is increasing. Those people from other wherever are coming, and all of us are kind of stuck with what we are doing. So there is too much population.
Let me come in here.
Also, more stones are getting here, no?
I'm getting stoned.
Yeah.
Let me come in here as a corollary to what Kama said. We have a sort of a magnum opus at Theosophy known as the Secret Doctrine. Okay, it has two parts: cosmogenesis and anthropogenesis. And I don't think there is anything beyond this book which anyone is telling. It's just that Madam Blavatsky has incorporated everything on earth. Everything on earth. For instance, I'll tell you, 1 year of Brahma is 311.4 trillion years of human being. So you can imagine this whole process. That is Brahma's 1 year. And in terms,
just repeat the number again, please. What 1 year?
311.4 trillion is 1 year of Brahma. That is a Fibonacci number. The Fibonacci.
That's what okay.
Yeah, Fibonacci ratio number.
Yeah.
There is a criticism with the numbers here. 7 is a very, very mystical. You'll find 7 in everything in our Puranas and Veds. So I will suggest, instead of me talking, if anyone's interested, please read The Secret Doctrine. It's most exhaustive volume. Albert Einstein used to sleep on a pillow, and he's got his inspiration from The Secret Doctrine. This is there in his autobiography.
I'll let you into another secret. Tushar is amateur, or should I say professional astrologer. So he knows his number stuff. So take him seriously.
But I have a poor memory. I don't store anything what is available in a book. I don't store in my mind.
But will this COVID get over by your predictions?
Sorry? I don't predict everything. I'm very intuitive.
But your reading, does it say it's going to get over?
My intelligence says, you're talking of the present time?
Yes.
See, present time is what we call as mini dissolution, mini pralay. It's not the final pralay what Baba was talking of. It will take another 25,000 years. This is documented in the theosophical literature.
So, what is the scale of the mini pralay? So, is it like 1 or 2%?
Like Corona is the mini pralay. You can imagine what the pralay, actual pralay could be.
True.
By then, we would have achieved God realization. So, it will be.
Yeah, absolutely. You have time. You have several incarnations, so don't worry.
25,000. If we have read God, it shouldn't take us that long.
See, only your body is dropping, so don't worry. You will be alive.
Okay, so I think I'll just go down one more page so that we stop at a logical point,
Sure.
and then we'll continue from there. So the gross, subtle and mental worlds, Annabhumi, Pranabhumi and Manobhumi, are each represented by a big circle on the right hand side. Since consciousness of the gross world is not fully developed in the pre-human stages of evolution, the lines which connect the stone, metal, vegetable, worm, fish, bird and animal souls through their respective stone, metal, mute please everybody, vegetable, worm, fish, bird and animal forms are shown merely as touching the world only partially. While, since consciousness is fully developed in the human form, it is shown through corresponding lines as being capable of understanding the entire gross world in all its different aspects. In the process of reincarnations, the soul may take male or a female form, and it may belong to any nationality, creed, or religion from the point of view of self-knowledge. The process up to the attainment of the human form represents an actual descent, though it looks like an ascent. So we rushed into this. So Baba is addressing this. So the process up to the attainment of the human form represents an actual descent, though it looks like an ascent, and the process of realization represents an actual ascent, though it looks like a descent. And these two processes are respectively represented by a line representing descent of winding knots of samskaras which go up from the stone stage to the gross world, and by a line representing ascent of unwinding knots of samskaras which comes down from the gross world to the God state. The process of ordinary reincarnation begins after the winding is complete, and it continues till the unwinding has begun. In the process of realization, advanced souls from the first through the third planes are conscious only of the subtle world through their subtle bodies. They are aware of ordinary souls who are gross conscious and can act upon them in the subtle world. But all this is done by them through the subtle body and in the subtle world. And they have no connection with the gross world through the gross body. In the same way, advanced souls from the fourth through the sixth planes are aware of gross conscious as well as subtle conscious souls, but they act upon them in the mental world through the mental body, and they have no connection with the gross world through the gross body, nor with the subtle world through the subtle body. Therefore, the lines in the chart connect the subtle conscious souls only with the subtle world, and the corresponding lines connect the mental conscious souls only with the mental world. In the God state, in which all samskaras are unwound, consciousness is turned only to God. This is the state of Majubs e Kamil, who have no connection with the gross, nor the subtle, nor the mental worlds, but a few who enjoy the God state also come down and regain the consciousness of the entire creation. These are the souls of the masters. Soul of the master is represented by 7 concentric colored rings. The following points, which has been brought out by the connecting lines, should be carefully noted. The master's soul is connected with the God beyond, which is the Vigyan or the resting place of the masters. It is connected with the God state, and it is not only connected with all the 3 worlds, but all the souls, whether they are mental conscious, subtle conscious, or reincarnating human beings who are gross conscious, or souls who are in the pre-human evolutionary stage. So with that, I'll just finish the footnote for the significance C chart 10. Nevertheless, in the gaseous or stone or metal or vegetable form, the soul also identifies itself, though unconsciously, with its most finite subtle form and its most finite mental form. See page 31. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll just look at that colored master soul. So yeah, it's connected to the God beyond and connected to the God state, as you can see. So yeah.
So beyond this Vijnan Kosh, the Anandamay Kosh. So that's and then there is Atma. Okay, so this is just 2 stages below the final emancipation.
Yeah.
But beyond the mind. So we are not going to be in the trammels of coming to a human body.
True. So with that, we'll close. I will make a note of where we are, and let's catch up and continue the charts tomorrow, and then get back to the reading.
Right.
All right. Have a good Saturday, everybody, and stay safe. Jai Baba.
Same to you. Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba.